So George Sr., what is your full first name, your full name?
My full name is George Augie Martins.
And were you named after anyone?
No, I don't think so. It's just after my dad, I guess.
So where were you born?
I was born in Portugal, Azores Islands. This island is called Terceira. I was born there, and then I came to this country back in '75 with my parents.
How old were you in 1975?
I was 11.
So why did your parents leave?
Well, my dad had came here already in the early '60s, and he really, really liked this country, and my dad was doing really well there in Portugal. He didn't have to, come to here, but he at that time, my older brother was going to go to the army. At 18, back then, on the '70s and '60s, when you would turn 18, you would have to join the army. So, I think that was some of the reason, because he was doing well there. But he really, like I said, when he came over here in the '60s, he really, really liked this country. So he figured this would be the country of, how do you say? Opportunities for his sons, and I'm glad he did,
So when he came over, when the family came over, how many were there?
It's three of us. I'm the youngest of three brothers, and so it was three of us, my mom and dad.
So as an 11-year-old, you already had a lot of memories of growing up on the island. Was it difficult for you to leave your friends?
Yeah, it was, but then I came over here, and right away I started going to school, and I made new friends here. I know it was tougher on my two older brothers, because my middle brother, Tony, he was only 16 years old, but he didn't go to school here. He started working right away. And my older brother, at the time he was 18, going on 19, and he went right away, he went to work. So the oldest one had a pretty tough time, because he had left a girlfriend there in Portugal, and he was engaged at the time already. So it was kind of tough for him, but then he found himself a new girlfriend here, and then everything was fine.
So now, when you came over, was there already a pretty large and Portuguese community?
Oh yes,
in place?
yeah. Back, in the '60s and '70s, there was a lot of Portuguese people immigrated here especially to California. All up and down California. I know there's a lot of people, all the way into San Diego. So it was a lot of people coming over from all the islands to here.
So I would imagine that made adjusting to life in the United States easier.
Well, like I said, the only thing I can remember, it's been a long time ago, but to me it wasn't that hard, because like I said, I went to school and I made some friends right away, and so to me it was kind of easy.
Any language barriers?
No.
Did you learn English in school here?
Yeah, I learned it here. Yeah, I didn't know nothing till when we got here, and so I learned all the English here. It's probably still a little bit broken still, 40 or 50 years later, but I learned whatever I know, I learned all here.
So you mentioned that your older brothers went to work. What was the family doing in terms of jobs?
Well, they work on a dairy. My older brother and my dad work in a dairy, and then my middle brother, Tony, he worked for a milk plant in Las Banas. I think it was called CDI at the time. That's where he went to work at.
So was it always important to your parents that you kind of grow up with a strong sense of your Azorean and Portuguese identity?
Oh, I think so, yes, especially my mom, But like I said, my dad, he when he came over here, he was already on his 50s, but he really, really loved this country. He had two homes there. He had his own business. He had at the time already people working for him, but he came here and he fell in love with American.
Do you know what it was exactly that he fell in love with?
No, I don't know exactly, but I know that he really liked this country. He really did.
And how about your mom? Did she?
My mom too. But the thing is, with my mom, she had left her parents behind. My grandparents on my dad's side, they both had passed away already. So I think for my dad, it wasn't as tough. For my mom, it was pretty tough because she was very, very close to her parents. So it was kind of tough for her, leaving her mom and dad behind. She didn't even go say goodbye to them. They got on an airplane and she didn't even, I remember, she didn't even go say bye to them or nothing. So it was kind of tough on her.
Did they ever see them again?
Oh yeah, they did. Like about, I'll say we came over here in January of 75, and 7 or 8 years later, she went back, pay them a visit. And then over the years, she went back a few times.
Yeah. Well, you talked about how you adjusted pretty well. You went to school, you met new friends. So what were some traditions that you and your family maintained that were Portuguese as you were still assimilating into a new country?
Well, our traditions is like we're, even today, I'm really involved in a lot of these Portuguese festas. I've been president of 5 different times, and I'm going to be one more time this year in October here in Hilmar with the church. So, but we're very involved, with all the Portuguese traditions, all the festas, all the bullfighting goes on. So we're pretty involved with all that. And my kids too,
And we're going to talk with George Jr. in a minute, but why was it important to your parents, and why is it important to you that you be so involved?
Well, it's important to me because first of all, I'm Portuguese and I was born there. And my parents, all his traditions and stuff, I loved. All the, like I said, all the festas, all the bullfights, because they're in Portugal, especially in the islands, in the summertime, it's bullfights on the rope every single day of the week, So, I've been involved on this culture all my life. I don't know, tell you any different.
So how old were you when you started getting involved in the bullfights, George?
When I was 16 years old, I started going to, back in 76, my brother was one of the founders on the group of squads that we have here in California. As a matter of fact, it's one of the oldest groups here in California. My brother is one of the founders, and I started going to the practice with him. But I couldn't dress still until I was 18 years old because of the insurance. They wouldn't cover us. We had to be 18 years old. But I started going to all the bullfights and stuff. And then when I was 18 years old, I joined the group. And then I was on the group for altogether 35 years. And then I was captain of the group for 22 years. And then in 2016, I passed the group over to my son, now that he's the captain of the group.
So, George Jr., can you tell us your full first name? I'm imagining if you're Junior, then it's exactly like your dad's.
No, actually, it's George Manuel Martins.
Oh.
So my middle name is after both of my grandfathers. They're both Manuel. My dad's father and my mom's father were both Manuel. And then George, I'm named after my father.
And were you born here in Hilmar?
Yeah, well, in Turlock, but I was raised in Hilmar my whole life.
So we're gonna go back to the dairy, because obviously that's a big part of your lives. But let's talk about the bullfights. So when you were a little boy, then your father was actively involved already.
Yes, he started in 91, I think. No, 81. So
in 81.
I was born in 89. He became captain in 91. Yeah, he started with the group in 1981, and I was born in 89. So when I was born, he was already involved in it, and he was in it until 2016. So my whole life I was raised around around the group, around the bullfights, around all of the Portuguese tradition.
So let me ask you this, if you guys could explain to me how it works, because you mentioned the group. Are the bullfights tied exclusively to festas, or are there bullfights even when there aren't festas?
It's mainly through the festas. Every once in a while, somebody will throw a bullfight on their own away. Like our group, every 5 years we throw an anniversary bullfight, and it's not tied into the festas. It's just to celebrate our group's anniversaries.
So how many groups are there in California?
Right now, there's 3.
Oh, so it's really, it's an exclusive group.
Right. There's only, like this year, I think there might be 14 or 15 bullfights altogether. So, for example, in Portugal, they throw over 200 bullfights a year, but there's 50 groups. So
do you, if there are like 15 bullfights and there are 3 groups, do you divide which groups go to which bullfights, or how do you decide who goes where?
no, it's just who's organizing the bullfight decides who they want to be a part of it. I mean, this year our group's going to be performing in 10 of the bullfights. So we're the first group founded here in California 46 years ago now. It was 1976, the first bullfight that our group did.
So George Sr., were you part of that group then? You were
Yes.
a founding member.
Well, my brother was one of the founding members. I came into the group, 5 years later, because the group was founded in April of 1976, and I started on the group in 1981.
Right, there was the insurance, right?
So, yeah, because you had to be, at the time, the insurance to cover us, you had to be 18 years old to be on the group.
So tell me, what is the appeal of bullfights? What is the significance of bullfights in Portuguese? Or is it Portuguese culture, Azorean culture? Is it equally popular on the mainland as it is on the islands?
Yeah, it's equally popular. There's obviously less bullfights in the islands because there's bullfights in 3 islands there: Graciosa, São Jorge, and then Terceira. And then in Portugal, it's all over the country. In the mainland, they have bullfights everywhere. You're asking the significance?
Right.
Why
right.
a bullfight?
What is, because clearly it plays a very central role. Is it man against beast? What exactly is the narrative about the bullfight? What is it that makes people want to do it and want to watch it?
Well, it started back over, probably close to 200 years ago when there were kings, and that was kind of an entertainment for the king and his family. And the forcados it started as they were there to protect the king and his family from the bull not going up into where they were watching the show. And then it evolved into actually grabbing the bull. I don't know where the evolution came from or when it happened, but like the first group of forcados was founded about 105 years ago.
So when you refer to the group, are you talking about forcados?
Yes.
Okay, and how many are there?
How many?
Forcados in a particular group?
Well, that varies. In a performance, 8 guys go out to do the job, to grab a bull. The groups, they all vary. Some groups have 20 guys. Some groups in Portugal have 60 guys on the team. But depending on how many bulls you grab, there's, rules to how many guys can be dressed out.
And so are there tryouts? I mean, do you work on skills before you are chosen? How does that
Yes,
work?
if you have over the limit of guys that can be dressed, then you have to have tryouts. If you don't have over the limit, then you have what you have and make it work with that.
Okay, so tell me exactly, if you can, how do Portuguese bullfights differ, for example, from Spanish bullfights?
They kill the bull in the Spanish style. So Portuguese style, the end of the bullfight is us. Forcados is a Portuguese thing. It was founded in Portugal, and that's because they don't kill the bull. That's what ends the show. The Forcados go out after the horse rider, the cavaletes, do their show, and then the Forcados come out and grab the bull, and then the 7 guys come off the bull, and the tail man stays on and tails the bull and walks off, and that's the show.
I actually watched some video of it. It's amazing.
Yes,
Yes.
it's an art.
It
It
really
is. It is an art.
It is an art.
And there's a lot of technique that goes into it. It's not just let's show up and try to manhandle this animal.
Yeah.
It's not that. There's a lot that goes into it. I mean, us, for example, our group, when the bullfights start, we practice once a week. We get together every Wednesday and practice.
Yeah. So George Sr., when you were doing this, you did it for many years. Can you tell us what is it like when you're actually there in the ring with your fellow Forcados and the bull? Is there an adrenaline rush? Is there any
Yeah, it is.
fear?
Yeah. Well, like me, I remember before I would jump inside the arena, I would have a lot of fear. But after you would jump inside, all that fear would just disappear, and you just would focus on that bull and do what you were taught to do, and then over the years, everything that I learned, you know what I mean. But yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun doing that all those years, and looking back now, I kind of miss it sometimes.
What about it do you miss?
Just being around the guys, most of all, you know. Over the years, I made a lot of good friends on the bullfight world, especially in Portugal. I was able to take the group back to Portugal a bunch of times, to Lisbon, to Azores Islands. Took the group to Peru too. We grabbed there. We've been in France. This group's been in Mexico a few times. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, was it the same group of guys through most of it then?
No, I mean, because I was on the group for so many years, you know, it's different guys over the years, you know, but it's still, matter of fact, at this, even right now, it's still, I think, 2 or 3 guys on the group. They were with me back 20 years ago, 20 or 25 years ago. I think it's 3 or 4 guys still on the group at this time that they were with me back then, and now they're with my son.
So when you had a son, did you know the tradition is going to carry on? Did you know that's what you wanted?
It's not that I want to tell you the honest truth. I'm not the one who brought him into the group. You know, it was a couple friends of his that were on the group that brought him into it. In the beginning, before he joined the group, I wanted him to be a horse rider, you know, to be a bullfighter. But then he rode, I think, horses here for maybe a year or 2, and then one day he just said he didn't want nothing to do with horses anymore. And I think since that day, I don't think he ever sat on a horse again.
Were you worried? Because it's one thing for you to be a bullfighter, but then for your son, was there any apprehension?
Yeah, it's a little bit, because I remember not that long ago, but I think it was maybe 2012 or 13 that both of them, because I got 2 sons are on the group, George Jr. and then Justin. And that one night, they both got hurt. I had one on the hospital here in Turlock, and the other one on the same night was at the hospital in Modesto, you know. So, but we got through it.
What happened, George Jr.?
What happened when we got that night? Me was on the first bull of the night. I think I took like 3 attempts, and on the second attempt, the bull hit me under the jaw and knocked me out. So I don't even remember going back the third time, but we grabbed him on the third time, and then I was kind of acting funny. So my mom and my sister drove me to the hospital just to get checked out, but I had a concussion, obviously. And that's part of the sport. It's happened a couple times.
So that's not in any way a detractor for you. You're still gonna continue doing it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So what is it about bullfighting that calls you and makes you willing to kind of take these risks?
Well, like I said before, I was raised around it my whole life, and as my father said, he never tried to talk me into it or tell me I needed to come out and practice. Actually, it was something I never really thought I was gonna do. But after I graduated high school, I started working right away. Didn't go to college, and
No, he thought he was going to be a basketball player, but he didn't get there, so then he had to work.
so then I started grabbing bulls.
So tell me, grabbing bulls, what exactly, do you grab them a certain place, or what exactly is the technique?
Well, I mean, a basic way to talk about it, you walk up to the bull, and in a perfect world, he turns around, looks at you, and there's a style that goes about the walking to him, getting his attention, keeping his attention with you. And then when you feel that you're in the right distance away from him, we kind of run up and call him loudly, because they cannot see you, they can only hear you. And so it's very important to be loud. And if they charge, then you start reversing in a way of kind of easing the impact. You start reversing, and the louder you are, the better for him to come into you straight and hit you square. And when the moment's right before he's about to hit you, you open up your arms, open your legs up, and kind of make like a chair so you can grab around his neck, and you just kind of create that pocket where you're able to get around his neck, and then the other 7 guys help you stay on.
So does each guy get an opportunity to be that point man, or is there always one?
Well, that's what practice is for. We evaluate and see who is right for that position. Not everybody can grab up front, and not everybody could be a second guy or a third, fourth guy. That's why we practice and see who fits where.
Yeah, it seems like you want them.
There are guys that can do the first through 8th. There's some guys that are that talented or that gifted. Some guys are only to grab up front. Some guys are to be tail guys. It all depends.
So is it safe to say that it's a young man's sport?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. There's some older guys that can stick around. Tail job you could last longer because you're not taking that impact. Sometimes they get hit if they don't get the bull dizzy enough there at the end, and the bull takes off and hits them, but it's rare. Further back there in the lineup, sometimes older guys can last longer, but from first through 4, it's got to be a younger guy, definitely, to be able to withstand the impact of it sometimes.
Because how long does a bullfight last?
A bullfight's about 3 hours.
About 3
2 and a
hours.
half, 3 hours. But like a group,
Because there's 6 bulls, it's not just one bull. So,
and we're not in there the whole time.
Right.
Our thing, if it all goes right on the first attempt, you're in there for not even a minute.
Oh.
It happens real fast. If you have to go 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and it gets longer, and that's when injuries start to happen. But sometimes bulls just don't let you grab them as you want to.
So what happens to the bull after the fight?
he goes back to the pasture, and then the bull owner does whatever he wants with him. If he's a real good bull, they'll use him for breeding. If not, then it's kind of goes to slaughter.
What makes a good bull for a bullfight?
Go ahead. You're doing a good job.
What makes a good bull? Well, a good bull. How to explain it in English?
A bull who runs after the horse.
Right.
That's
Runs
one
after
point.
the horse, and
The ones they don't run after the horse,
it's going to be a problem.
there's going to be a problem to grab. Yeah.
So you watch him. What he does to the horse. You watch when the horse rider's fighting the bull. The objective, they have a stick. Here it's completely bloodless. The bull has a Velcro pad on his back, and those sticks have the opposite piece of the Velcro on it. So their objective is to put those sticks on that pad on the bull. So the horse runs straight at the bull. The bull runs to the horse, and the horse kind of goes off to the side, and the horse rider puts the stick in his back, and onto the pad. So you watch the way the bull runs at the horse, the way he brings it, if his head's up all the time, or if the good bull will bring his head down and do it in a smooth motion. A bad bull has his head all over the place and is trying to just do bad things throughout the performance. You watch the way he runs after the horse. The horse riders have their assistants that are called banderilheiros, and they have a cape. So you watch the way the bull runs through the cape, and a good bull, all those motions are going to be smooth. A bad bull, it's going to be tight, quick, moving his head in fast motions, not smooth at all.
Can bulls be trained when they're little?
No.
Oh, so
It's a
they-
natural thing.
It's a natural thing. They
You
have to be
have
pure.
it or not. And it depends a lot on the way they are raised. If they're not, they need to not see people. They need to get to the arena and that all be new to them, so they're not like used to seeing people and looking into the stands. So there are things that a bull owner puts an influence on the animal from their early stages. But if they don't have the quality, if they don't have the genetics, then it really doesn't matter what they do with them.
So you don't raise the bulls, you raise the horses here. Is that?
We raised the bulls for a long time.
We
but now-
raised them for many, many years, but now my brother was partners here with me until the first of the year. He retired from the dairy here, but he kept the bulls and I kept the horses. So he has the bulls, and he bought his own place down there in Stevenson, and that's where he has all the bulls and the wild cows. He's there in Stevenson.
So why did you decide to do the horses and he the bulls, or was it just?
Well, no, we were all together. Me and him, we owned the bulls and the horses. But then here, 5 years ago or so, we had a talk and we go, hey, the bulls are yours and the horses are mine. And that's how that came about. We just gave a handshake, and he kept all the cows and the bulls, and I kept the horses.
So how many bulls does he have?
He probably has, I don't know, he probably has like 100 cows, and he probably has 70 or 80 bulls.
And how about horses? How many horses do you have?
Well, altogether, we probably have 60 or 70.
So we talked about this already, but let's get it on camera. So where do you get your horses?
A lot of the horses are imported in from Portugal, some from Spain. I bought some in Mexico. And now in the last 20 years, we've been breeding a lot because we have mares, and so we have a lot of them. They're born here at home, and we raise them. And then when we have a couple guys, they train the horses every single day. That's what their job is from morning till night, they ride horses.
So why did you have to import the horses?
Why? Because if you want good blood, Lusitano horses is in Portugal.
what is it that makes Lusitano horses so unique and appropriate?
That's a very good question, but I know a lot of bullfighters, probably horsemen. Bullfight, the guys they fight on a horse, and 90%, not to say almost 100%, all horses are Lusitano horses. These guys, the best horsemen, both of them, they're from Spain. Pablo Hermoso Mendoza, Diego Ventura, they're the top guys, Then, and you go there, and 90% or 100% all horses are Lusitano horses. Even in Mexico these days, they have a few bullfighters. They fight on a horse in Mexico, and all their horses are Lusitano horses. That's a very good question, but I don't really know to answer that question
That sounds
fully.
like a good, if it's a workable tradition, keep
Yeah.
it, right? Right? So, you said they train every day. Are there special skills that horses that are used in the bullfights need to have?
Yeah, like right now at this moment, we got two guys here over there riding horses. I have a kid that's been here with us for the last 18 years. He's a professional bullfighter, and that's what he does every single day, except on Sundays, is ride him from 7 in the morning till 6 in the afternoon, training him, to for the day of the bullfight. And we sell some horses too to other clients, not just for bullfighting. If they're not good for bullfighting, then we just sell them to dressage or whatever.
Yeah, that's a long time to train a horse.
Oh yeah, horses before they go in the bullfight arena, sometimes they got to be trained for 3 whole years before we can ever use them on a bullfight arena, before they learn everything. It's not some people, they go to bullfights, they think, well, you just get on top of that horse and it's ready to go. But no, it takes some of them, they pick it up quicker, but mostly 2-3 years.
So with a bullfight, do the horses come out first and then the forcados, or what's
It's
the
not, yeah,
sequence?
it's the horses first and then the forcados at the end.
Okay, but same bull.
Same
So
bull,
he must
yeah.
be tired by then.
And there's 6 bulls.
Yeah, well, some of them, but
They must each be tired.
no, all of this weekend we
bull?
had a bullfight.
It depends.
Yeah, it depends.
Here, way less, because in Portugal, the bulls, they bleed a little bit.
They bleed.
Because the sticks have a knife deal at the end of it. It's different.
Why is
Which-
it bloodless in the United States? Is it
They
a law?
it has to be bloodless. They will not allow, which takes away from the bullfight, because some people are against it, and that's everybody's right. But to see the true how do you say the true how good a bull actually is, he needs to bleed, because it's a wild animal, and when they bleed, it releases the tension that they're feeling, and they become even smoother. Here it's bloodless, so they never lose any blood, and most of the time even when the forcados go out there, it's like the bull just came out the gate. So there's a lot more difficulties grabbing bulls here than anywhere else, really, because of that.
So it's more
But
dangerous.
anywhere else, they run the bulls a lot bigger because of that fact. Like here, we run them around 400 kilos, and out there they run them 500-600 kilos.
And are they killed in Portugal then?
No.
Oh, they're just toughened up.
Yeah, so in Portugal, once they come out, there's a vet there, and they surgically remove the sticks, disinfect everything, and then the bull owner decides what he's going to do with the bull after that.
So I had mentioned your little boy. How old is he?
He's 1.5 years.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
So do you hope that he carries on the tradition?
I hope that he has a passion for it. If he doesn't, then hey, that's fine. I hope that I think he's obviously going to be raised around it, and he's still very young, but when he comes around, he seems like he likes to watch it, and sometimes I'll be watching a video at home and he'll hear it, some noises, and he runs over and wants to see what's on the what's on the phone. But like I said, this is definitely something you have to be passionate about, because it's a dangerous sport and you have to really want to be doing it. It can't be something that just because I want him to do it that I try to get him into it. I hope he's passionate about it, and if it's something he likes, fine. If it's not, it might even be better, because I won't have those nerves and have to watch him in there as my father did with me. But
Does it get easier, George Sr., watching him out there, or do you still worry a little bit?
No, tell you the honest truth, myself, it's gotten easier over the years. You know, in the beginning, it was a little bit more tough on me, but he's pretty good at what he does. So I feel way better when I go to bullfight, and if I see him out there, and if he's the one's going to go grab, you know. So I feel pretty good when he goes out there and does it.
So would you say overall, is compared to when you were a young man and you first got involved, would you say that the interest in bullfighting has stayed the same? Has it tapered off?
For some reason, it seems like there's more people these days going to bullfights than there was back in the 70s and 80s, you know. Back here about 10, 15 years ago was more bullfights here up and down California than there is today. Because at one time, it used to be about 28, 30 bullfights per year. And then it dropped down to on the 20s. And then with this COVID stuff, you know, it was nothing went on for about 2 years. So then last year was already a few bullfights. And then this year they're saying it's probably going to be about 13 or 14. So that's good. Hopefully it gets up to the 20s again one of these days, but you know.
I guess, you know, I'm always, one of the things that's always been impressive to me is that it doesn't matter if someone's father was born in Portugal, grandfather was born in Portugal. It seems like whatever generation, there still is a very strong sense of pride.
Right.
Right? Where does that come from?
I don't know.
that's a good question.
That's a
Maybe
$1 million
just the
question.
Portuguese seem to be very prideful people. Maybe it's just in our blood to. And when you go back to Portugal, it also makes you fall in love, because it's just so, everybody's so welcoming. The atmosphere is something you enjoy to be a part of. And
one thing I can tell you is the best food in the world, and that's hands down. Doesn't matter who I talk to or what, but it doesn't matter what a restaurant, because over there they got so many. Every corner is a restaurant, you know, 10 feet away, or you walk another 20 feet, another restaurant. It doesn't matter where you eat. The food over there is great. And so, I love this country, and I would never trade this country, American, for any other country straight up. But I love to go back there. I go back there pretty often, 3-4 times a year at least. But the people there, they're very, very welcoming, whoever goes there.
Yeah.
And like I say again, and the food's great.
And you feel, how often have you gone back?
Oh, quite a few times as well. Yeah, I mean, with the group, we've gone many times, and probably from 07 till now, I was almost at least once a year. The last few years, because of COVID, we haven't been back there, but there was a couple of years that we went twice. So
they're going again this year.
Yeah,
in August, they're going back over there
gonna
and perform there.
In Terceda.
I imagine you're hoping to bring your son too someday, if not.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Did you grow up with a Portuguese language, speaking the language?
Yeah, the language was always very present throughout, you know, with the festas and just at home with our families and with our grandparents, especially our grandparents. That's all they spoke was Portuguese. So they didn't speak any English at all, really.
Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna tie it by asking a few questions about the dairy. Obviously, you can't do it without talking about Martin's Brothers, right? I mean, you have a huge operation here. How many head of cattle or cows do you have?
I think cattle, we probably got about 6,000 head. I think we're milking it right. 2,500, 2,600,
26, yeah.
2,600. And then we have the trucking on the side. We haul, sub-haul milk for a few dairies and for Hillmar cheese.
And when you started out, how small were you?
When we started off, we started off with 200 cows.
And that was, what, 30 years ago?
Yeah, 30
This year,
years ago.
30 years ago.
30 years ago this year, because it was in 92.
So what does it feel like, George Sr., looking at what all you've accomplished over the scope of 30 years?
Hey, well, it wasn't just me. It was me and my brothers, and the family. You know, and the wife. She's been great. She's the one who takes care of all the paperwork, and my daughter. So it's been a family. It wasn't just me.
So the family is to whom you attribute the success?
That's right.
Yeah. What's it feel like knowing that you've got sons that are continuing in your footsteps?
Yeah, and well, if it wasn't for that, I would have retired already. I would have, because these days it's pretty hard to find help. It's not like it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. We used to, here till, I don't know, 2 years ago, we used to have 5, 6, 7, 10 people that stop here a week looking for work. Now, nobody stops looking for work, and you put ads, and it might take you a month or 2 months to get anybody that wants to work. There's so much more people coming into the country, seems like every single day, and less people wants to work. I don't know. I don't understand that part.
Yeah, I imagine that's a huge challenge.
That's a very huge challenge. Very.
So what calls you to the family business, George Jr.? It's a tough, rewarding, but a tough life, right?
Right, definitely. It's a lot of hard work, but we get to live a good life and have flexible schedules because of we are running the operation ourselves. This is what I was like, you know, again, I was born in 89. They started dairy business in 92. So I've been raised around this my whole entire life. And like my dad said earlier, I did the horse riding thing a little bit, but it just wasn't what my passion was. My passion's always been the cows, and that's what I do now. I run the dairy side, the cows part, and that's what I feel is my calling, and it's something that I feel I do well, and I'm lucky that I was born into something that I'm very passionate about, and I am very grateful to my father and to my two uncles for everything they did to get us to where we are today. They took many risks. As my father noted, they bought this place and there was nothing here. When they bought this place, this was actually underwater because this is a flood zone. So, you know, that's a huge risk that they took, investing in something they weren't even sure they'd be able to construct on. But everything they put their minds to, they put their heads down and worked hard and got us to where we are today. And now it's our responsibility to take it to the next level. And I'm very excited about that, and excited about the future with my son, hopefully, and with my brother and my sister, as we're all involved in the family business.
Right. So talking about the future, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to finish up by asking you a couple questions about identity. But talking about the future, what do you think the future of bullfighting is going to be?
Go ahead.
The future of bullfighting.
Yes.
I think there's a future. There's a lot of interest there. You go to the bullfights and the arena, the stands are filled with people. There was just a bullfight this past Monday on the 25th here in Stevenson. The arena seats about 3,000 people, and it was full. So, and I mean, I'm sure the majority of the bullfights you'll go to this year, it'll be a full attendance. The problem is what is in the arena. It seems like there's less people wanting to perform, to come out and be a part of the forcados, the breeders, the people that own the bulls. It's more older people. It's hard to see a lot of young interest in carrying that on. So I think that's where here in California we'll have possibly the difficulty moving forward is putting on the show. The interest is there, the people coming to the show, but the performers, the bull owners, the horse owners, it's not a money-making business. It's a hobby that they have. So they've invested a lot of money into having these animals here, but there's not much of a return on it. It's just something like my father and his brothers, something they loved from where they came from Portugal, and they invested money into it to be able to put on the shows here. But I think it's going to be hard to have a lot more people like that moving forward.
Do you agree, George Sr.?
Yeah, and another thing was too is our first bullfight this year was at the fairgrounds in Turlock a couple of weeks ago, and I think we had like about 3,500 people there on the stands, and a lot of that money, whatever the profit was there, I know they donate to the children's hospital in Madeira. Every year we throw a bullfight, and a lot of the proceeds they go to that. So I think it's for a good cause.
So there's really no profit in what you do. It's really kind of in a way more of a service that you provide?
Well, the bullfight with the feshes, it is, because we go out and the way these feshes work is you go around all these dairies up or down the valley, and they'll give a cow or give a donation of money, for the fesha, because it takes a lot of money to make a fesha. Let's say you make a fesha and you make $600,000, but you're probably going to spend $450,000 anyway. So the margin of the profit there, it's not a whole lot, and then you gotta keep up with the halls, and there's a lot of money there with the buildings. And then some of that, like that bullfight 2 weeks ago, there was Carlos Vieira's Foundation 5150. They throw that every year, and we usually go to that just pretty much for the expense. That way, the profit they make, they give it to
it's called the Race for Autism.
Race for Autism.
So that's where the proceeds go. So like my father's saying, we all basically give our time so that all that money can go to the cause.
Do you think to what extent do you think that maybe a potential future lack of interest isn't just the cost, but that the more removed you get from the immigrant generation, the more assimilated people get and the less interested they are? Might that be a role as well?
I think that's definitely, it's going to definitely change the way things are done. Hopefully it continues. Maybe things won't be like they were because, as you're saying, the immigrants are becoming more far removed, and the young generation just doesn't have that same work ethic, in my opinion, that the older generation had. And to do anything in life and create anything that's successful, you need to work hard. And I think that's something that's being lost in my generation.
What's your observation?
I'll leave it at that.
I'll leave it at that.
Okay, so just a couple more questions. So what does being Portuguese mean to you, George Senior?
What's Portuguese?
What is being Portuguese? What does it mean to you to be
Portuguese?
I don't know. I was born as a Portuguese kid.
You're very proud to be
Yeah,
Portuguese.
I'm very proud to be Portuguese. First of all, yeah.
What makes you proud though? Why? What is it?
I don't know, all these traditions that we've been talking about, I think. I know we go back to bullfighting again, but if you're Portuguese, you're going to love two things: bullfights or soccer. That's all it is there. You're going to love soccer or bullfights, and I like both, I got a team there in Portugal that I love. It's called Sporting, that I go back every year and go watch them play live, So, but I'm just, I could have been an American or a Canadian or whatever, would have been fine too, I'm not racist, so, but I'm glad that I'm Portuguese, and I'm keeping our traditions from my parents and grandparents on here in America.
How about you, George Jr.?
I'm proud to be Portuguese because of what all of the Portuguese before me have accomplished. If you look around up and down this valley, you see tons of success stories from Portuguese, from many different races, but we're talking about Portuguese, and you see many stories like of my father's, of coming here with nothing and building what they have today. And and there's many stories that are much more success. And I think it just shows the type of people the Portuguese are. They are hardworking, they're humble, they're very, very in touch with their traditions, with our culture, and we're very proud of that. And a lot of the traditions have gone on for over hundreds of years, and it continues to be carried out with passion. And you go to these festas and you just feel happy. You have a good time. You enjoy. There's a lot of work that needs to be done in the festas, but you're surrounded by good people, and you enjoy it, and it doesn't even feel like it's work. And then we're also carrying out a tradition. We're putting on an event for people to come to and enjoy with their families, and it's just a beautiful thing, I think.